So strap in and get ready.
The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Skitty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Insight AFL Show and your very first Panic Room show. Yes, it is the Panic Room. Teams have dropped, and Deadly and I are going to go through the ins and outs, whether we need to rage trade, whether we're holding players. It's all going to happen within the space of about half an hour here, Deadly.
Mate, this is the very last hour, as they say. This is the grit and the grind. We got to be prepared.
Yeah. This is the panic time for some, but for those that are prepared, maybe not so much. But we're here to go through the ins, the outs, who to look out for, and more importantly, from a SuperCoach perspective, who it's going to affect. Before we start, though, like, subscribe, and give us the bell. We'd love that. Give us a thumbs up as well. But also, if you're listening back to us on audio, give us that 5-star review. Now, tonight, like other shows, it's going to be brought to you by Draftstars. Yes, that's right, Draftstars. Download the Draftstars app right now to compete against other sports fans across Australia and New Zealand for huge prize pools. There's no season-long commitment and new contests to join every day. There is nothing like the thrill of Draftstars. To sign up to Australia's leaders in DFS, use a link in the description below. It's the best way to support us and the show. Remember, this is not fantasy. This is Draftstars. Now, we've got an Insight-only league running tonight where only members of the community with the link can win prize money, Deadly.
That's it. So get in and come lose to me, Bakes and Horse.
Oh, unbelievable. Have you won any coin yet?
Yeah, won the Sunday or the Monday game.
Oh, jeez. Unreal.
I'm too good, mate.
Too good. It is only $10 per game, and remember to Lockie Bramble responsibly. Now, tonight's game, mate, we've got May, McVee, and Fritch in. Howes, Turner, and Melksham out for Melbourne. Campbell Gray for his first game. Congratulations to the young man picked up in the mid-season draft last year. And Ryan Mansell is back from that 3 weeks for pushing a bloke that got knocked out. And Bolter with the curfew is out. And Samson Ryan, the bloke that trips over his own shoelaces on the way to running out in the ground, is out. So, mate, the subs, Tom Brown and Harry Sharp. Tom Brown's probably a surprising one.
Yeah, Harry Sharp. I sort of expected Harry Sharp to be a sub. Tom Brown, on the other hand, I actually thought it was going to be Gray for his first game. But, I think Tom Brown's been pretty good this year for Richmond down back. So, I don't know. It surprised me a little bit. But hopefully that just means he's behind Trainer in the pecking order.
Yep, that's right. Mate, with Stephen May coming back into the side, it probably affects... Who do you think it affects the most? Tom McDonald, given that Richmond have only really got... Lynch and Fall as their two bigs?
Yeah, I think it mainly affects just kick out wise. Bowie, Salem, all them guys. Bowie's been an absolute tear, and he's been even better with May out. He didn't take a kick in the week before, and then last week he took 5, and he rarely takes 1 with May in the side. So
no, that's right.
It affects him. Yeah, Judd McVee's a pretty good inclusion. He was meant to come back a couple of weeks ago, but he came back through the VFL and then got re-injured.
Yeah.
Trent Rivers off halfback. He's going well back there now. I think his time in the midfield's done. What about you?
Yeah, I think so, mate. And you bring up a good point with Judd McVee coming back into the side. Is that going to affect Jake Bowie? So I know a lot of people don't have him. He's more of a draft specialist than anything, but he's nearly averaged 100 SuperCoach points per game to start the season. He's been one of the more underrated players this season. With McVee back and he's known as a quality ball user across half-back, does that dent the stocks of Bowie and Rivers to an extent?
Yeah, I think it does. I think just even having him and May back in the same team, look, it's good for Melbourne. The back line, there are plenty of good ball users out the back line now.
Mm-hmm.
And another interesting one there is Harry Petty's been named to go back, which I don't know if that actually happens. I feel like he's probably got to stay forward.
Yeah, I reckon he's going forward. Yep. Interesting to see they go Harvey Langford first rotation through the midfield and Clayton Oliver again off the bench. I anticipate Oliver to have a big game tonight for those of you that have held on to him. Yep. But for the Tigers, Luke Traynor is back across half back. For those that traded him, I understand why, but his 3 games leading into last week, we knew on the Thursday night that he was going to be sub due to managed minutes and GPS numbers that he'd racked up over the first 6 weeks of the season. So he's straight back into that role, and it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect that 75 to 80 average to continue on.
Yeah, 100%. I think, especially against Melbourne, as we know, most defenders just in general against Melbourne go pretty well just because of how well they play and open up that back line. And we did it a couple of weeks ago. We saw Zach Reed score 100 plus. And we're just, look, if you held Traynor, I reckon, unless you can loop him, if you can't loop him, he's definitely one I'd be putting on field.
For sure. Let's move on, mate. We're not going to give our tips or anything tonight. It's just about who's going to be playing and where. So the next game we've got is going to be
Flag Dons.
Oh, yeah.
Flag Dons.
Thank Christ it's wet because it could be an absolute smashing otherwise.
Yeah, that's it.
Dan Houston's back in, the sniper himself. Tim Membry's back in. It'll be good for him as well to play in front of. He plays in front of 95,000 this week, which is probably more than what he played in front of in the 10 years that he was at St Kilda. Yep. Yeah. And Sullivan's back for Collingwood. Darcy Moore's out with that sore ear. Mason Cox, he's too tall. And Ed Allen, unfortunately, has missed out. Cole Langford's back for the Dons. He's missed the last month with a hammy. And the 75-year-old Todd Goldstein is back. Sammy Draper, best wishes to him. Achilles out. And Sardell Hawley, he is out. But not unreasonable to expect that he's out. If he's not going to be named in the best 22 and he's been sub 3 weeks in a row, they're going to want to get a full game into him in the VFL.
Yeah, that's it. And he probably needs to go back there and get some full games, get some run to the legs a bit more. And I feel like he'll be a mainstay in this side, either back end of the year or if we push for finals in that sort of area.
Yep.
Collingwood side of things, not too much changes down back. It's just going to be a Dan Houston for Darcy Moore swap, which just makes them a bit smaller. It probably means Braden Maynard's going to have to play a bit taller, and that's about it.
That's right. How do you see Dan Houston coming back in? Is he going to take? Well, he didn't take kickouts before he got suspended, did he?
He didn't take many. It's always been Jeremy Howe, and I'm not really sure why. To be fair, Houston's only taken 7 all year in the 3 games he's played. Yeah, it probably just means Josh Dacos is probably going to get 1 or 2 at max, and Jeremy Howe will just get 5 or whatever.
Yep. Not really too much there. I think it's going to be, if it is wet, Ned Long season. If you've got him, I think that's a really nice play. For me, I bought Nick Dacos in this week. He's just too cheap, and probably as cheap as he's going to be all year to not get him in. So he's probably your number 1 target for this week. Harry Perriman continues to burn owners. He's starting on the bench there. And you reckon that Sullivan's probably going to be the sub?
Yeah, I reckon if I was to guess subs in this game, it's probably Lockie Sullivan. And look, I hope it's Hobbs, but I reckon it'll probably be Jai Menzies.
Yeah. We see for the Essendon Footy Club there, not too much changing. Kyle Langford adds a little bit of firepower up forward. Peter Wright, mind you, I must remind you that this year he's averaging 6 goals a game and 145 SuperCoach points. Is that going to continue? Probably not, but I want it on record.
Yes.
As he twiddles his moustache. I do like the forward line set up a lot better with Langford, Wright, and Caddy as the 3 tools. And then you got Kako, Gresham. Jai Menzies shown a bit this year as well. And then you got Ben Hobbs, who has come on a little bit this year as well.
Yeah.
We still see Zardes as an emergency mate. So if you've still got Zardes, do you hold or do you sell?
I have him. And I'll tell you what, if he's not in next week, he's probably on the chopping block because I don't know how much longer I can hold 2 dead rookies with him and Lucas Campriali.
Yep.
So, he's probably one that will be definitely on the chopping block. But don't worry, he'll go back to VFL. He'll get 35 touches and 17 clearances again and just remind us on how good he could be.
That is elite, that's right. That's it for the Anzac Day game. While you're changing games, we don't want to remind people, but there is a dawn service on tomorrow morning for the soldiers, the people that have fallen for us and to be able to live in this country as we have it. So I would recommend, even if it is only 5 or 10 minutes a day, to pay respects to those that put forward their lives to make our country a better place for us to live in. So thank you to those that have served, continue to serve, and the families affected as well.
Yeah.
Freo versus Adelaide, the next game. Wagner, Chapman, Narklin. So there's no Erasmus for those that were looking at a potential bubble boy from Freo. James Aish is out. Jaeger O'Meara has got hamstring and foot issues. Bailey Banfield is out. I'd say that's due to poor form.
It's a mission.
Quinton Narkle is in, probably the specialist sub for Freo. And then we see Rochelle and Peatling in for Adelaide, and Fogarty and Berry out. I did see a little snippet through those that were down watching the Adelaide training run or their main training, and Curtin was training in the role that Fogarty plays. So
yeah,
might be a nice little look there in a draft league, but you're not picking him up in Classic.
That's the look. I thought Darcy Fogarty was going to be up for this week. He obviously copped that brutal bump from Harry Himmelberg on the weekend and was sent for scans pretty well immediately, and got cleared of everything. And he was a chance to play this one, but obviously didn't get up for it. Yeah, I think moving Curtin to full forward is probably best bet for Adelaide, and probably Ben Keys is one that takes some of his wing time along with Luke Nankervis, who's been named there.
Yep. We see Corey Wagner straight onto a halfback flank. I'd say that's probably pretty spot on. Luke Ryan is dropping cash, but there's a reason for that. Please steer clear of him. Shai Bolton's been in pretty good form, 97 Supercoach points he's averaged in the last 3 weeks. Oscar McDonald might be someone that we target next week. He could be a nice little downgrade target if you need someone that is cheap and getting games. He is doing an okay job down there. He started off all right last week, but went really quiet. Narkle, the sub for Freo, you'd say that's pretty safe to think?
Yeah, I think he's probably locked into a sub unless they make it Carl Warner, which they could do with how many backs they've named. And, you know, he has been named sub before, but I think it's probably just got to be Narkle. And Narkle, he probably earned this call up, if I'm honest.
He's been good.
He's been real good in the waffle. He just had 38 touches and 10 clearances against East Freo. So, yeah, he probably definitely deserved this call up. Sucks for Erasmus, who's not even named as an emergency, which is a bit worrying. But, yeah, if we were looking at him, we're not looking there no more.
No. For Adelaide, fairly stock standard. You got Rochelle into the forward line, and then Peatling will come back through the midfield. Do you think, I guess from a Supercoach point of view, from Freo, is there anyone that goes to Isaac Rankin and then in turn, Peatling or Alex Neil-Bullen to Sarong, Brayshaw or Clark?
I can't see Neil-Bullen going to any of the backmen. Okay. I can definitely see Peatling having a little toe-to-toe with Caleb Sarong for a while there, though. And a little interesting one about Adelaide that no one's really picked up on besides me, because I sit there and look at the stats most nights because I'm a boring individual.
Yeah,
Matt Crouch only had 20% CBAs last week, mate. He played on a wing for most of the game. Do you reckon that continues?
I don't really want to talk about him. So let's move. Yeah, I'm glad we got through Adelaide, mate, without mentioning Ben Keys as well. So let's move on
to the next game.
Nah, we did not sneak him in. I don't know who you're talking about. I'm gonna mute you out the next time you bring up his name. Anyway, Dougal Howard and Isaac Keeler in for the St Kilda Footy Club. Ari Schoenmaker and Liam Henry are out for the Saints. Kai Lohman Marshall is out for Brisbane. Now, you brought up an interesting stat that St Kilda aren't giving up the same amount of points to halfbacks as what they did last year.
Yeah, not anymore. Last week was sort of a big game for the halfbacks.
Yeah,
against St Kilda. They've sort of shot back up on the rankings. The wingers had a real big game against St Kilda back end of last week. So yeah, they're sort of coming to a bit back of what they used to be, just letting up easy points. And I'll tell you what, those are pretty fair omissions. Ari Schoenmaker, he puts in zero effort in the ones, and I did see a tweet during the game against the Dogs that Ari Schoenmaker only runs when there's a kick in available. And you just, I went back and had a look, and you watch him.
Yeah.
From the 50, I witnessed him sprint past Nasai Manganini-Miller and Jack Sinclair just to take the kick, and he sprinted past him. It was unreal.
Ryan Marich light.
Yeah, it was very funny. Dougal Howard's a fantastic person to have back in for this St Kilda side. Much needed for their defensive stocks.
Yep. For the St Kilda Footy Club, mate, we're seeing Windhager named in the back pocket. That's not going to happen. And I believe he will go straight to Lachie Neale as he has the last couple of times. Yeah. Jack Steele is we see a question in here about whether you'd VC McRae or Tom Green this week. My VC's firmly on Nick Dacos against the Dons. But in this game, McRae doesn't have that good a record against Brisbane.
Yeah, out of them two, I think I'd probably take Green.
Yeah.
Just because, this game's probably going to be a shellacking, to be fair. I don't really see Saints standing a chance. And, you brought it up before. Marcus Windhager named it off the back pocket and Liam Stocker named in the middle. I don't think that'll happen. I think that they'll switch. Isaac Keeler named forward is an interesting one. There might be potential for him and potentially Dougal Howard to switch during this game.
Yep.
Subs for this game, I'd probably look at Zach Jones. Jones, and I reckon our boy Jimmy Gunstall.
I reckon it's Tunstall. I reckon he's the sub. Yep.
Our boy Jimmy Gunstall.
You look at the people there on the bench for Brisbane. You got Kai Lohman, who's electric, and Brisbane severely lack goal kicking at the moment, so he needs to play. You're not going to sub Will or Levi. Logan Morris is an up-and-coming good footballer for the Brisbane Footy Club. It's got to be Tunstall, doesn't it?
The only person I can see it not being besides Tunstall is Lohman, and that's just because if his ankle's still troubling him.
Did he play in the VFL last week?
No, he was out, ankle injury. He was subbed the week before, I believe, and then got injured again, or was subbed out early again.
Okay.
So, there is a chance he is named the sub and gives a bit more of a rest. But if he's back, you'd probably reckon he's in.
Quick one from Mark. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Thoughts on trading Will Ashcroft or trade him out to Rosie? That should get DPP. I like that you put should in there because Ken Hinkley is known for shenanigans. I wouldn't go on Rosie yet. Like that role looks very juicy for Rosie. But I feel like he's going to be attainable at any given time. And I think with Will Ashcroft, the way that the Brisbane Lions setup is, Will Ashcroft had a shitter last week, but the tags always go to Neale or Zorko. So that's going to allow the likes of Dunkley and Ashcroft and McCluggage to have a bit of a looser leash, so to speak, and not as much attention on them. So I see higher upside in them, Deadly.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, Ashcroft, if you're trading Ashcroft, I reckon it's probably he's made the money now to where you can get him to an out-and-out star, a Bond, a Butters, a Dacos. If you can get him to one of them three, which you should be able to pretty easily, it's only like 80K or something to Dacos. I'd rather much do that.
Yep. Rama, we'll get to that when we get to Carlton, mate, but I feel like Carroll may even not get picked this week, so we'll touch on that shortly. We got Port Adelaide versus North Melbourne. Very interesting to see the ins and outs here. We'll start with Port first. Joey Richards, who should have a field day against North Melbourne, up forward this week. Jeremy Finlayson, he always beats up against the lesser sides. And Joe Berry, after his big game in the sample last week, comes back in. Tommy Cochran, unfortunately, he's got issues with his foot. So if you were looking to bring him in, it's looking like a 3-month injury to Tommy. So you can pretty much put a line through him for the year. Travis Boak is out, and Rory Atkins, the bloke who's played at more clubs than what I've had hot dinners, is out as well. For North Melbourne, Callan Dawson is in. Jackson Archer, they badly need Jackson Archer back just for his hardness. And Riley Hardiman is back as well. Aiden Core, Griffin Logue, both dropped. Zach Fisher, he doesn't even get a mention anymore. Yeah. Aiden Core and Griffin Logue, though, that's very, very interesting, mate. What's the go here?
So I was before I went into work today, I was doing a bit of keeping up with the intra-club that North Melbourne had. And everyone was saying, Griffin Logue and Aiden Core, they were in the B team. And everyone just guessed it was just sort of based off just matchups, just put him up against Larky and whatnot and give him a harder matchup. But no, they were genuinely in the B team. And that was really surprising to see. Yep. I think when it comes to this North Melbourne backline, Colby McKercher trained off half back. I think we'll probably see him and Tucker do a bit of switching between that. I tell you what, these Mitch Georgiades is probably going to have a field day up against who?
This
Condon or Dawson?
This reeks of, when was it? Was it round 2 when Port Adelaide played Richmond and towed them up over there?
Yeah.
This has got this written all over it.
Yeah, it doesn't look pretty.
It really absolutely does. So I hope that North Melbourne put up a bit of a fight, but fuck that. You look at that back line, Coomben or Combin, the Condom, whatever you want to call him, Dawson, Archer, McDonald, Caleb Daniel, Darcy Tucker. That doesn't fill me full of confidence. And you look at their bench, there's no one that can go back and can do a job. So
no.
What's interesting, though, is I do want to bring up that congratulations to Kane Farrell, who plays his 100th, and Luke Parker, who plays his 300th game this weekend. Congratulations to both those men. Colby McKercher, a chance to play off half-back this week. You brought up 3 weeks ago, did some digging. You said that you'd be interested in Colby McKercher if he got to around 250K. Now, he's got a break-even of 130, is it, this week? And he's at 340K. So it's likely that if he goes back to half-back, it may not get down to 250, but if McKercher plays well, scores 100, goes to half-back, and then he's at 300K next week, does that scream pick me?
If you're telling me I can do Zach Reid straight to Colby McKercher for no money, yes, please.
You have to do it. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Harry Sheasel named at half forward. Probably for me is going to spend a lot more time through the midfield this week. I think they need to win centre bounces, and they need to win them convincingly for them to have any chance. We see, for those that held on to Pickles, Horn Francis, congratulations. Shit bloke, but he has turned it around and is scoring well. Zach Butters, he's on the bubble this week. He could go monstrous this week. Connor Rozee named at halfback again. I actually don't mind. Actually, I'll rephrase this. Connor Rozee off halfback against North Melbourne might not score as well because the ball might not be down there as much.
No, you're right. Look, we shouldn't give North Melbourne too much. They have shown some signs. They put up 80 odd against Carlton, who count them up. But there is a chance Rozee still goes pop. Look, the interesting one for this Port side for me is the fact that obviously those 3 guys, one of them was forced, but dropping Boak out over Moraes actually interested me because Moraes isn't even getting game time. He's playing 60% time on ground, if that. This
is a management thing for Boak.
Yeah, I mean it's fair enough, but I feel like Moraes has got to go. Not team wise, but your SuperCoach team get Moraes gone. He's probably going to get dropped in.
I'm going to say Hardiman or Dylan Stevens as the sub for North.
I reckon Hardiman. And then probably be Joe Berry.
Joe Berry or Josh Sin?
Josh Sin probably deserves to be the sub, but it'll probably be Joe Berry. Oh, no. Oh, Finn Layson's back. Oh, I don't think. Yeah,
but he's named on field, isn't he?
No, he's named on the bench. Kenny doesn't rate. I don't know. It'll be one of them 3. It's not going to be Druid, Burn-Jones.
Yep. As you go into the next game, you're right, Jasper. Logue should be playing with Callan Dawson, just needs some leadership there. The GWS team, I'm no longer going to call them the Orange team, play the Western Bulldogs at Manuka Oval, or Manuka Oval, as our man IJ would call it. Jesse Hogan in for Callum M. Brown, and for the Dogs, the Gus bus.
We're hopping on the bus.
Bustlinger is finally in. And I've got some stats for you, mate, that may make him a nice little juicy pickup. We've both had eyes on him for a little while. Latham Vandermeer and James Harms in. You reckon Harmsy gets through the first 90 seconds in this game?
Oh, I mean, I'd hope so.
He didn't last time.
Yeah. No, he'll be right. I reckon he might even be a sub.
Sam Darcy out, but the news keeps getting better for Sam Darcy. They're saying only 8 weeks now.
Yeah, it's getting better by the day. Yeah, I think we'll see him.
By the end of the weekend, we'll see him next week.
Yeah, that's it.
Lockie McNeil out and Liam Jones, interesting that he's out. Now, Jed Buslinger, mate, he hasn't played a game of AFL footy yet, but he averages 25 touches in the VFL, 17 kicks in those 25 touches, and almost 8.5 marks per game. Now, if he gets those intercept touches, I'm not saying he's going to average 25 in the AFL, but if he averages, say, 15 touches a game and 6 marks, that's going to equivalent to about 80 SuperCoach points per game. He's definitely someone we've got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I put some stats up on Twitter this morning when we found out he was debuting. 23 and a half touches, 17 of which are kicks, going at 79% disposal efficiency, 8 marks a game. And he just came off a game against Sandringham with 15 intercept possessions. If he even gets half of that in the AFL, he's on for good points and good coin.
Yeah. If you scroll down a little bit more, Aaron Norton's playing his 150th and Connor Iden's playing his 100th game. Congratulations to both of those gentlemen. Jesse Hogan, straight back in. You'd expect him to have a pretty big game. You're looking at Buslinger, Lob, Karmas, I don't think goes to him. Yeah. The Dogs probably lack a key back here.
Yeah. James O'Donnell's named at half forward, but I really don't think he's going to play. I think he has to play down back. I really don't know who's going to play forward in this team, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Josh Dolan's probably one that just, I don't even know. They got Luke Cleary on the bench. I reckon Buku probably might slide forward again in this one, mate. I think James O'Donnell just has to go back.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Well, James O'Donnell has been training with the backs this week. We know that. Alongside Lob and alongside Buslinger. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. For GWS, Lockie Whitfield, fair VC shout. He's in some really good form at the moment. Lockie Ash, the number 2 there, he's been just quietly going about business and priced at mid 540K at the moment. Looking like a nice little pick if you picked him up early. Finn Callaghan, he's someone that I've traded out this week, Deadly, but I'm having that last-minute blues as to whether I should bring him back in or not because
the panic room button has been pushed.
Yeah,
the panic room button.
You've got it for 30 seconds, mate.
Yeah, righto. Yeah. So, look, if you own Callaghan, I think at this point you just got to hold for at least another week. And I feel like he's just one that you can turn into a Butters or a Bont in the coming weeks. Look, Mick's using him to turn him into Dacos this week. I don't hate the idea, but I think I'd rather hold Callaghan this week. Subs-wise for GWS and Dogs, it'll probably be O'Halloran and Hines pretty comfortably.
Yep. You would think so. Hines probably has struggled a little bit to come up to the pace of the AFL so far, so I think you're pretty bang on there. Connor Stone, interesting. He's been named. A lot of people have been looking at him as a loop. I'm not sure whether you've brought that up yet or not.
No.
Yeah, just be careful with that and who you're trading in and out if you've got him. So
yeah.
We'll get to your question at the end, Steezy. We're only about 10 minutes away from finishing off, mate. So we'll move to the next game, and we've got
some extended benches.
The Suns versus the Swans at People First Stadium. They need a better name there, don't they? In so far, Braden Fiorini, after didn't he get 1,000 touches and 300 tackles in the VFL last week?
1,000 touches and then some.
Oh, he was unreal, mate.
He was good. I did watch that game back. He was really good. But they still got absolutely dominated by Southport and Jacob Dawson and Brendan Crossley. They're two of the best in the whole of that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Them three coming in. We see Patton, Laddams, and Sheldrick all back in for the Swans. I don't think we'll see any changes in this. I think all three of them for both teams will probably be the emergencies. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty bog standard. Not much to talk about in this game. They're all going to be same teams, same people.
I think you're pretty spot on with that, mate. Yep.
Everyone's going to play the natural position. Yeah.
How long are we waiting for the diddly Sam Flanders to drop?
He can keep dropping. I don't care for him in his role. Don't care for him in his role.
Don't like it.
Hate it. It's shit out. He just scored 40 in it.
Shit out.
It's no good. It's
Deadly's our wordsmith here. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pulling a bit of squid.
Yeah, that's all right. Ben Patton, Laddams, Sheldrick in for the Swans, but I don't see that team changing this week.
No, not at all.
No.
Maybe Caden Cleary drops out, but we won't mention more than that. I
reckon Hanley gets dropped before he does.
Oh, I hope. We
Hanley was
hope.
subbed out last week. He really struggled with the pace last week.
Yeah, that's fair.
For Carlton, so we've got Harry Mackay, Lachlan Cowan, interesting name in and Sam Doherty, And in for Geelong, Uysen Mullen, Ollie Wiltshire, Mitch Duncan, Jai Clark. Out is Grind Mars with a concussion. New is Oliver Wiltshire, if he plays. We haven't got any confirmation whether he's playing yet. But
he probably won't.
Yeah.
He definitely is knocking on the door for a debut,
he's
though.
definitely knocking on the door.
He's one of Geelong's up-and-coming talents. Look, I think the only change in this one, Geelong-wise, is probably Jai Clark is probably the one to come in for Grindmires. He's probably been the best performed in the VFL, unless they still rate Ocean Mullen, but I don't know who does. Who drops out? Do you reckon some people have to drop out here for Cowan, Doherty, and Mackay?
Mm-hmm.
Does Matt Carroll drop out?
I think he does. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm not trading him in. I don't trust him.
No. It sucks, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can trust him at all.
No. Look, there is a world where I might even do this. I probably will go with Elijah Hewitt if he can. And then, because their game's obviously before the West Coast game, if Carroll's playing, take Carroll. That's probably what I'll do.
I like it.
But I'd like to see Carroll and Cowan in the side together to do that.
Yeah, I can't see it happening. I can't see them playing in the same team. Matty Carroll has been good, 99K rookie, and we'd love to see him, but yeah, I don't see it happening. I really don't. And I think,
love it.
Shit, who else is on the bubble that we can target? There's Charlie Spargo up forward.
He's
Erasmus
probably
didn't
the
get
best
picked.
option.
Yeah. Do you go early on Bustlinger?
No, I don't like.
I don't think you can. Like, the upside's there, but I don't think you can. Tunstall might even be the sub this week as well.
Yeah, I think I'll probably ride with Elijah Hewitt personally. I know you really can't. If Carroll's named,
I have Elijah Hewitt already. Yeah.
Yeah. If Carroll's named, I'll switch to Carroll and run with him. If not, then I'll just have to stick with Hewitt. There's just no one. It's looking really bad this week.
Yeah. In Carlton's last 18 games, they've only won 4 games. 2 of them against West Coast, 2 of them against North Melbourne. So my tip is the Cats.
I think it's Cats pretty comfortably then.
But I do want to bring up something. And so for those that were worried about Pitnet, he's been available the last 2 weeks to play.
Yeah.
And they've chosen not to play him. So for those that are worried about TDK, you're right. Harry Mackay back now. So he's going to be the backup ruck for as long as they're playing well together. And remembering that TDK has a contract in front of him for St Kilda, but he's also got a contract in front of him for Carlton. I think Carlton are going to want to do what they can to keep TDK at the Blues. He's their future ruck. Pitnet's not going to do much for their future, but TDK will. And you got the likes of Newman coming back next year. You got Jager Smith. You're probably going to end up with another. Oh, no, you're not going to end up with a draft pick because you traded the Hawthorn, you nuffies. But still, there's cause for optimism there at the Blues. As much as I don't like the Blues, there's cause for optimism. And by playing TDK as the number one ruck to give him free reign and to not play Pitnet, it's not just helping us out as SuperCoach owners, but I believe it's the best way forward for the Carlton Footy Club, mate.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And I'm just having a gaze at these downgrade options. If it's not Hewitt or Carroll, I might even go early on Oscar McDonald. It's that bad.
I mean, I'm a frog back in the chat. Hey, brother. Not much really else to talk about for Geelong. Maxi Holmes is an option.
Yeah.
If you don't have Bailey Smith yet, I'd encourage you to get him. But apart from that, Tom Stewart's actually, I want to touch on Tom Stewart quickly. Yep. I don't think that he's an option at the moment. His form is not good enough to warrant that. Once he does turn that around and we see a ton out of him, then maybe. But the price that he's at the moment, as appealing as that may be when you associate 430K with Tom Stewart, the price doesn't match the bill, mate. Like, you're not getting value for money there. Next week, if he pumps out an 80 this week and gets to 410K, or if McKercher goes 100 and drops to 310K, I know where I'm going straight away.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's really weird to see, to be honest, because we all had Tom Stewart locked in for last week if he didn't get Gastro. So, yeah, it's interesting.
And for those that have just jumped in the chat, we believe that McKercher is going back to a halfback flank this week with Fisher out. So if that is the case, that's what we're watching for. Hawthorn West Coast, the last game of the round before we get to your questions in the chat.
Horse. I need to stop you here.
Okay.
Luca Grego is not in the West Coast team again.
What?
I'm not having this.
The fiery redhead has not been picked. Who has been picked? Tom Cole, Oscar Allen, Tyler Brockman, Noah Long, Sandy Brock. Okay.
Tim Kelly,
Harry Edwards, Tim Kelly out. So Harry Edwards, Tim Kelly. That means a mid's going to come in and probably Brock, a defender.
And Brock will be back. Tom Cole will be back in, actually. Tom Cole is
Tom Cole and Tyler Brockman, you reckon?
Oh, Oscar Allen's back in. And,
Oscar Allen as well, yeah.
Look, the people on this interchange, it could go anyway.
Now,
all of them could not play.
I want to start with West Coast, mate. So we got the word early on last week that Gross was going to be sub, and it came through as per. He's still at only 140K. He was sub because he was managing just being sore last week. He's still at only 140K. Is that your downgrade target this week?
Yeah,
you've got to be mindful, Mo. It's the last game of the round.
I don't hate it. If I'm desperate and I absolutely have to, I might have to.
Yep.
It's looking very bleak. And I tell you what, the next 4 weeks even of West Coast run, granted they are West Coast, it's not bad. Hawthorn, Melbourne, Richmond, St Kilda.
Mm-hmm.
They could put up some decent fights. I don't
think West Coast are as bad as what they perhaps were showing in the preseason.
Yeah, no, they'd almost beat Essendon, so they must be great.
Yeah. Flag favourites. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
For Hawthorn, so Hustwaite has been named, and we believe that he is going to play 121K rookie mid. Who do you think benefits the most from Nash 4 weeks and Will Day being out for a prolonged time? So John Newcomb's been spoken about as, the man now and a potential super pod, but Cam McKenzie's not getting a lot of love. He can play footy.
He's real good. Good. I don't think he is a SuperCoach Classic option. Draft, 100%. Classic, no, not for me. I'm more inclined to believe that if Hustwaite comes in, I don't think he's going to get many CBAs because in the times that he has played AFL for Hawthorn, he's always just been sort of shoved out to a wing or...
He has bulked up a little bit. He was really skinny.
Yeah. Look, he's been phenomenal for Hawthorn.
Oh, he's been putting up bulk numbers, hasn't he?
He's currently leading VFL Player of the Year. Okay. So that tells you how well he's playing. Yeah, so he deserves this call up if he gets it, and we believe he will.
Just behind Archer Daywicks?
Archer Daywicks is like 50-something.
Gun. He's kicked 50-something goals. Lloyd Meek, this is the start of the juicy run for Hawthorn, mate. Can you go there?
I don't think you can go to Lloyd Meek, but Matt Flynn, you can get into my side very happily now. I tell you what.
Yeah. I think, and for those that were worried about Matt Flynn and Bailey Williams, you can see on your screen there. For those that are listening on audio, obviously you can't see the screen, but in the selected, 26, there's no Bailey Williams.
Bailey Williams, nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be seen. So that would indicate that Minnie's got faith in Matt Flynn, and that Matt Flynn is living up to expectations to what Minnie wants. And I feel like the Tim Kelly drop and then him come back in the side, I know he's injured again, but the fact that no player feels safe and they're playing for their spots each week, I think Ahmed Frog nailed it in the chat. They're playing for their spots each week, which is causing a little bit of desperation there. They can't be lackadaisical about it. Even Harley Reid's turned it around to an extent as well. I know he's the man, he's the number one person, but the last couple of weeks, his body language has been better as well. So, there are definitely brighter days ahead for the West Coast Eagles, mate.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's going to do us for our games, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into your questions.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
Got to get rid of that bloke that's on the questions thing, don't we?
Yeah, we don't like that bloke no more.
Braino's giving you a shout out, hot blokes. But As per usual, Deadly is so short he can't see over the comments, so I'll have to get that one off.
Let me move back. Let me drop
Mitch,
this. Now
Deadly's
what?
back. Deadly's back in the ones. Yes, sir.
We're back.
He's pumped about it too.
We got dropped
James is
last
just
week.
asking whether you VC McRae or T Green this week.
Yeah,
If you're
I
choosing
think-
between those two, it's Tom Green.
Yeah.
The Great Graven, how you doing, brother? What are you thinking about Spargo and jumping early on Bustlinger, considering the lack of rookies popping in this week and next week? I think Spargo could make some quick coin for you.
I think I'm going Spargo.
You are going to go?
I'm still doing my trades as we speak, so
Okay.
I don't know. It's actually between Spargo and Gross at the minute, and I fucking hate it, but I think it's going to be Spargo.
What's Steedsy? I've been on 3 primos set up with Gorn, X, and TDK. Is it a week early to trade TDK to get Nick Dacos, Whitfield, and Flynn? I have to do Darcy to Dacos regardless.
Ooh, that's
Personally,
tough.
I'm running 3 rucks for the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. It's either until Flynn maxes out his cash or until if Pitnet gets picked, then TDK will be on the move. But that's a very, very good question. I think Nick Dacos you have to bring in regardless this week. But Gorn averages 166 in his last 2 against Richmond. X bounced back with 145 odd last week. And TDK, he's the sole ruckman there. So I'm probably inclined to hold all 3, mate.
It's impossible to say now because the blokes who've been named the rookie-wise, it's so bad that you might just have to get Flynn just because you're not going to get any money this week.
Yeah.
But with a three primo ruck set up, it's fucking near on impossible to do. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. I seriously, I'm dumbfounded with that. To be honest, I think. Nah, I don't know.
So,
I probably wouldn't. I'd keep all 3.
yeah. Deadly's about as indecisive here as what jocks to wear each morning. So apologise, Steedsy. He'll get it together one day, mate. Who are we fielding out of Lindsay, Layla, Garcia, Ashcroft, and Davidson? Can only field 3. I think
Ashcroft.
GWS. Yeah, Ashcroft's.
Davidson and probably Lindsay.
Yeah, Hugo Garcia hasn't actually been scoring too badly the last couple of weeks.
They've got all
I'd
their
say Garcia, Ashcroft, Lawler. I think,
Oh,
yeah, GWS, they could
Actually, yeah,
really
maybe not.
run over the top of Dogs over there.
yeah. Okay, Garcia, Ashcroft, Davidson. Then.
Yeah.
I think Davidson's a very safe on fielder.
Here you go. Not liking the rookie options this week. Thought Big Cat would have got a game. Yeah, he should have. Sounded like he's, yeah. I had a crack at him about that clicking pen today, mate. He knows about it, and it's not going to be like that next week. Jasper, I traded Trainer for Carroll. Should we get back on it? Go back on it. Yeah, I would reverse that trade. Yep. Deadly?
Yeah, I think you probably do. I think Trainer's probably a hold now.
I'll tell you what, Peter Wern, he's up with technology. He's in the WhatsApp chat right now. So I'm going to give the man a bit of a shout out. Soon to be anointed the godfather of the WhatsApp chat, mind you. Dacos seeing the wet. I'm probably going to VC him. And I know it's wet, but his running power over the last couple of weeks has been unmatched. So I think he's going to get as much of the footy as he normally does anyway. Is it going to be a bit sloppy? Probably. But is he still going to get 35 touches? Probably. So
Yeah.
I think it's a fairly safe VC option. And then if he does go 120s, 110s, whatever, I think you can look to go elsewhere with your C option.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I'm not doing that. I'm putting the C on Nick Dacos.
What a man. VC tonight?
Max Gorn.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Froggy, yep, we spoke about the weather. It is going to be quite moist tomorrow.
The frog loves it in the wet.
He does. That's where he comes in.
He fries.
Into his own. Is Sardell Hawley a better trade-in than Carroll? I think
No.
long-term wise with DPP, I think he eventually comes back in to the Essendon Footy Club. I
No,
think
'cause he's not named.
he's
this
not named
week,
this week,
yeah.
no, but I'm talking if you want to get ahead of the game, so to speak. I think he does come back in eventually once he gets match fitness again because he adds something to the Essendon forward, or it's not Essendon forward line, the Essendon back line and through the midfield that we don't have. He's got that dare. He's got that ability to take the game on. And yeah, he had a shitter last week, but the 2 games previous to that, he looked exciting. He looked electric. And it wasn't just the players getting up and about. You could sense the players were feeding off the energy that he was bringing to the boys. So I think, even if it's not this week, I think he does come back in eventually.
Yeah.
To get both Dacos and Flynn, trade out one of Oliver or Marich, or both Davidson and Reid. I've traded both Davidson and Reid this week to bring in both. Tristan?
Yeah, I'm trading out Oliver, but it's because even if I do Davidson and Reid, I still won't have enough. So I would do Davidson and Reid, though, if I had the money to.
Yep.
I'll put it.
Lucky Sevens is just asking why the anti-Carroll stance. Do you want to go back to the Carlton team and we'll run through it just quickly? So with Carroll, mate, it's been spoken about for the past couple of weeks that when Cowan is fit, that he basically takes his role back from said person who took his role. And that person is Matt Carroll. So while he's been playing well, Voss does like what Cowan brings to the game and his element of hardness across the back line. So I don't think it's any fault of Matthew Carroll in why he gets dropped. But if Carroll's right to go, if Cowan's right to go, unfortunately, Carroll is going to have to make way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're just getting some thank yous in the chat. Mate, we've gone 45 minutes. This is going to happen every Thursday, regardless of whether Deadly's here with us or not, because he's a busy man with basketball and having to back up his MVP type caliber season from last season with his local basketball on Thursday night.
I came fourth in MVP voting. I'm elite.
Is there 4 people in the comp? Mate, where can the people find you at home?
Just there on X. I've been posting some pretty good shit. Some pretty good shit.
Just ask him; he'll tell you.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to talk to us during the footy as well, we've got our WhatsApp chat as part of our Patreon. The Patreon link is in the description below. Click in there for a cup of coffee per month. That's right, $5.95 per month. You get our teams, you get our trading targets, you get articles written for you. We've got our own insight doctor, former writer from Dr. Supercoach, who's in there punching out articles each week for you guys at home, and a whole lot more. The game's about to start. We're out. Love the footy. We'll see you again Sunday night for our round 7 review. We'll catch you then.